Hi everyone, it's Claire from ScrappyNerdUK and welcome to the final episode of the cut files. I've had so much fun creating layouts with these cut files, and today I have teamed up with the lady herself, Paige Evans, to bring you a little hop between my video and her video. And we're both working with the same cut file, and I always love this experiment to see how different the layouts turn out using the same cut file and potentially with different supplies. I don't know what supplies Paige has used for hers, but I've actually chosen to go with, of course, go the scenic route because that is one of my all-time favourite collections. I can't say favourite collection because it is like choosing, I don't have children, but it's like choosing a favourite child or a favourite pet. So I will refrain from saying it's my favourite collection, but it is one of my favourite collections. So, and of course, because it's travel themed, it goes well with the suitcases, and the photograph is of myself asleep on the bed. I will tell you very shortly about the story of this, but the technique that I wanted to bring to you in today's video is to actually backfill the cut file with the photo. So rather than just using pattern paper or some other medium, I have backed a section of the cut file with my photo. So I've just used some wet glue and I have stuck that down around where I want my photo to go. So it took a little bit of planning just to make sure that my photo was going to fit where exactly I needed it to. And I had another photo in mind, but I just couldn't get it to work because the area that I needed it to be was quite not very high. So this worked really well because I am lying down in the photo, and so most of the subject of the photo was towards the bottom and not a lot going on at the top. So I could just trim that away. So yes, this is me passed out on the bed in a hotel room. So it is a running joke that whenever I go away, I don't cope with jet lag very well. And I get the other end, and as soon as I get to the hotel, I literally cannot function. And so there's always a photograph of me passed out on the bed, and I just don't cope very well. So I've been left before, my husband and my parents. I think the first time, I wasn't the first time we went to America, I think it was the first time we went to Florida. I was asleep. They all went out to go and get dinner, and I was literally passed out on the bed. And it happens every single time. So yeah, jet lag is not my friend. So I thought I was going to tell this story. That photograph there is of me passed out on the bed from my Florida 2019. That was the last time I managed to get away. I'm hoping next year that we can revisit again, keeping everything crossed. I forgot to mention this cut file is actually available in the Etsy shop from Paige Evans. So if you do have a die cutting machine, then you can head on over there. And as always, I'll leave that linked in the description box of the video down below. I'll also leave a link to Paige's video in the description box down below. So please head on over and take a look. If you haven't already, take a look at her video and what she has done with this cut file. So I have backed my suitcases with some different pattern papers from the 6x8 paper pad. And that top one there is just, the glue is just setting. And then I noticed this little cut apart sheet in the 6x8 paper pad, and I thought I would use the little globe on top of the globe part of the cut file rather than backing it, just to change it up a little bit. And there you go, I've just trimmed around that top one there. Now I've used these certain colours, so the red floral I've gone with because there is a pop of red in the photo with which is the bed runner thing that goes across the bottom of the bed. So I thought I would go with red, and then I went with that floral at the bottom because it is gorgeous, and then I teamed that with a yellow suitcase at the top to bring out some of that yellow from the flowers in the bottom. And I did actually cut the globe piece out of the middle of that bit because that is a usable frame that I have kept and I can use on another layout. Now, I don't actually use any ephemera on this layout either. I am running, and I said this on a previous, maybe the previous video, maybe the one before, I am running a very low on my floral ephemera from this collection, and I never actually managed to get the normal die cuts for this collection. So I am improvising. Well, I'm not improvising, it's something we do fairly often as scrapbookers, and that is to fussy cut. So there are quite a few sheets in this collection that are screaming to be fussy cut. This is one of the 6x8 ones, which is perfect, and I'm going to make full use of a couple of pieces, a couple more pieces from this sheet. One of them is this document this. Now, I just used my scissors to trim that, and I had the transfer, or the colour, the bleed from the other paper on the edges of that, and just using either a distressing tool, which I clearly still haven't found by the time I film this, a distressing tool, or a pair of scissors, just to ruffle the edges there. It just gives you that a little bit of forgiveness on dodgy cut edges, or where you've not cut it, where you've taken some of the next bit of a cut apart on the edge as well. So I'm just going to use, I've stuck that document this flat down to the layout, and I decided to go with white cardstock on this because I'm using quite a few bits of pattern paper already, so I didn't want that to compete with any background. And because I've put the whole cut file up on foam, that has given that natural shadow around the cut file that helps it stand out. So although it's a white cut file on a white background, that foam has done its job and helped to create almost an outline around the edge of the cut file. So I'm going to work on my title here, and I am using the thickers from the collection. I hadn't got these previously. I picked these up quite recently actually, and I haven't always been a fan of mixed coloured alphas, but I am embracing it, and these all coordinate very well with the collection. Of course, they're made to go with the collection. Now, what I discovered, that when I was writing out the word tomorrow, I realised that the W in the pack was, it wasn't, neither of the colours that were there matched the rest of the word that I'd written out. So I actually just took an M I took an M, which matches the T, and I just turned the M upside down to create my W. Now, I don't know if grammatically my title is correct. I'll be Wanderlust tomorrow, and it's been bugging me as to whether I've used that correctly in a sentence, but do you know what? It's a layout that's going in my album, and I'm not fussed. Normally I am the grammar police, and that's why it's been bugging me so much. But I'm over it if I've used the word be rather than I can't think of the other word that I was trying to use, but I've just gone with I'll be Wanderlust tomorrow. And that's that bit all done. And then I just cut up a Z, or just a part of the Z, to give myself an apostrophe for the I'll, otherwise it'll be ill. So I am now working on my clusters. So as I said, there are quite a few pattern papers in this collection that lend themselves very well to be fussy cut. One of the papers, there are two papers really that have the florals on. So one of them has the pink flowers that you can see. I've already popped one over there to the left, which will get moved very shortly. So that's one of them. Another paper is full of these little stamps. I was going to call them postcards, full of these little stamps. So I've gone ahead and fussy cut out a few of those to add on, and ideally they have USA written on them, and that is exactly where I was when this photo was taken. There is another pattern paper that has a whole load of different travel icons and bits and pieces on. So the backpack, the camera, that was all fussy cut from that paper. And also on the right hand side, and you'll see I'll add these on in a minute, there is a little journal and a little sleep mask, which was perfect for this. So all of those I had already fussy cut, and I will add those on. So yeah, there are two mainly 2 floral papers. So there's this one with the pink ones on, it's on a light blue background, and then there's all of these other different florals that's on a darker blue background. And I use flowers a lot in my layouts, and despite the fact that this is a travel theme layout, the florals still work really well, so I'm not fussed the fact that I have flowers on here and it's about travel. So there we go, I've just added that little journal on, and then this little sleep mask, which was obviously perfect, I have popped up onto some foam and tucked that in that floral cluster up the top. Next up, I'm just going through the flowers that I've cut out from the papers, as I've explained, and I'm just deciding exactly where I want to put them. There's a bit of a gap just underneath that cluster there on the right, so I'm going to add another flower in there. So one of the other papers that screams out to be fussy cut is this paper with all of these tickets on. So I have already pre-cut them into strips, and then I'm just going to have a look through and find a few tickets that I can add on as embellishment. So I absolutely love the fact that there are absolutely tons of papers that you can just make your own embellishments from. So this is so handy, especially when you kind of get usually about 50 pieces of ephemera in a pack at any one time. That doesn't go very far, but if you have a sheet of tickets and a sheet of stamps and 2 sheets of floral and a sheet of what else was there, all the elements, then yeah, it goes a lot further. Now I've just used my hole punch there just to round off the corners of those tickets, and that gives you a better rounded, more unified edge every single time. And then I'm going to pop a couple of those tickets just down to the bottom left there, just to balance out some of those colours. So I needed a little bit of yellow at the bottom, a little bit more yellow at the bottom, so I've used the tickets to help me do that. And again, just to help me with forgiving those edges a little bit, I have used my scissors just to distress the edges around those as well. And then I'm going to come in with the sticker sheet, and I've been desperate to use up that map on many other layouts and mini albums, and it's just never made it, but it's made an appearance on here. And then I'm going to use these little Polaroid picture frames, and I'm going to tuck those, a couple up the top and then just one underneath the rucksack, and then a couple of word stickers just to help bring it all together. I always like to include a few word stickers in my layouts, so I decided to go with 2 that are similar. One that says dream, and a similar colour, shall I say. One that says dream because I am clearly fast asleep, and one that says travel. So I've tucked those into both of those clusters, and then next up I'm just going to add my journaling on here. And as I've said, this is all about the fact that it's a bit of a long-running joke that I always pass out once I get to the hotel. Let me know, are you good travellers? Do you manage to stay awake when you go away, or are you just as bad as me and end up just collapsing at the other end? Let me know in the comments down below as well what your favourite collection is. I am really intrigued to know whether anyone can actually commit to a favourite collection or not. So my final flourish on here is just some Indian black ink into a couple of those clusters, just to add a little bit more messy splatters around. I'm just using the end to just try and get some rounded ink splatters. And then this layout is finished. So thank you so much for joining me for this series. If you have enjoyed this video and indeed the whole series, then I would appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you all very soon for another series. Bye.